The bailiff has informed me that this jury has reached a verdict. Is that the verdict in that envelope, please? All right, sir, would you please grab that? For the record, the defendant is appearing by WebEx. Court will read the verdicts as follows. Jury verdict count number 1. We, the jury, find the defendant, Trenton N. Hammerstrom, guilty of count number 1, menacing. Jury verdict count 2. We, the jury, find the defendant, Trenton N. Hammerstrom, guilty of count number 2, assault in the 3rd degree, knowingly or recklessly, foreperson signed. Madam Foreperson, is that your verdict?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just going to poll the jury. Are these your verdicts?
Yes, that was my verdict.
Sir, was that your verdicts?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes. Yes. Yes.
All right, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, you have now completed your duties as jurors in this case.
Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, are you done with him?
I don't care.
No.
I got big ass lawsuit.
I'm sorry?
I don't care. I got money. My family has money. I'm not being a dick like that, bro. But bro, you got
Not yet. If you can,
Not yet.
unless you need to take him back, I can meet with him later.
She's all liars, bro.
Unless we need to take him back.
Liars, take me to jail, y'all liars. We're redoing this case. The new judge, not your fucking fuck ass. Go fuck your wife, little dick boy. Dude, fuck your wife. That's what you
All right,
fuck.
you can take him back.
I haven't actually watched both videos.
Okay.
They were just sent to our office last Thursday. I was out on Thursday night. I was out on Friday, and then I was alerted that they were sent this morning.
Okay, so I'll ask you some follow-up questions then after I see it. Let's see.
So this is the first video provided by the defendant. My understanding from people in the office is that these are videos taken potentially by Sherry Williams of one of her children and eliciting from the child testimony or statement that the victim, Michael Gray, might have made them smoke some sort of vape. That's all I know about it.
Keita, do you remember when you told me that Uncle Michael forced you to hit a vape? Yeah. How old were you whenever he forced you to do that?
7 or 8.
7 or 8. Was it just a nicotine vape? They make you hit like a marijuana vape too.
It was like a blue long one with a black bottom and a black tip.
All right, let's address that video first. Why do you believe that's relevant for this, for these allegations?
There's a reason why these kids are in my house currently, and it's due to the fact that even Sherry and myself do not feel safe with these kids around him. Just with the false accusations, I'd love to get into the police video and have them see how he talks and how he gets all hypey, because it's not, I'm not saying it just makes me look good, but I'm not the aggressor in this situation, and I want to be able to prove that to everybody. He has past experiences with fentanyl, and we're just gonna leave it at that. And now it's coming on to the kids, and I have a problem because I have a standard. There's a standard at my house. This shit would never happen.
All right, watch your language. You don't need to.
It would never happen in my house.
Additionally, Your Honor, I make a motion at this point to preclude the defense from arguing, asking questions about prior drug use. Just now, Mr. Hammerstrom tried to inform the court that Michael Gray has a history of fentanyl use. I believe that again, is not admissible. I don't think it's relevant here. Additionally, I would ask that the defendant not be allowed to ask questions about prior drug use. Again, there was no allegation on the night of that Mr. Gray was intoxicated or impaired. None of the officers made that observation. And I don't think it's relevant. And I think it's...
The court finds that drug use that occurs in such a way that may render someone impaired during the incident or directly before the incident, such that they're intoxicated during the event in question, that's relevant and that's permissible, right? So the example would be if Mr. Gray had moments before the incident or in a short time before the incident used drugs, I think that could be a fair line of questioning as it affects his ability to recall and perceive things, right? So that could come in. But when a witness's purported drug use is used merely for the purposes of attacking their credibility, like he's not a good guy because he constantly uses fentanyl or has in the past, or we've had issues with him using fentanyl, that is not admissible, okay? And so I'm going to direct you that your questions and comments cannot be related to other episodes of drug use that may have happened with Mr. Gray, except that if it affects the day of question, January 8th, then it's fair game. Do you understand?
I ask about possibly because people who've done heroin usually have withdrawals. Am I allowed to ask, are you possibly having a withdrawal that day? And is that
you can ask whether or not
me demeaning him? It's just me being respectful, because I had friends who used to play around with crap like that, and they're kind of mentally gone. They have these episodes where they just start freaking out, getting in people's faces.
So I don't want to get too deep in the weeds on hypotheticals, but what I've said is you can ask questions about drug use that relate to the witness's ability to perceive and recall the events related to January 8th, 2026.
Actually, the only reason why I'm not even having a public defender is because my public defender that wanted to take my case has a bunch of sexual assault cases. I might not be as professional as him, but I'm at least going to carry myself and stand on what happened. I'm not lying about anything that happened, and I'm not trying to bring in extra sauce or whatever to make someone look bad. It's just the situation is what the situation is. I'm trying to get this dealt with.
Folks, this is a case about retaliation, plain and simple. The defendant, Trenton Hammerstrom, is charged with 2 counts. One for assault in the 3rd degree, for punching the victim, Michael Gray, in the back of the head, and 1 count for menacing, for threatening to stab Michael Gray while brandishing a knife. And the state's contention is that these crimes were committed as retaliation. The evidence in this case is going to show that the defendant provoked a fight with Michael Gray. Michael Gray agreed to fight him. They were arguing about the cleanliness of the residence where Michael Gray was living with his sister. The defendant is Michael Gray's sister's boyfriend. The defendant was upset about the cleanliness of the house. Michael Gray took exception to that because the defendant doesn't even live there, not his house. The evidence will show, and the testimony will show, that they engaged in a mutual combat wrestling match. Michael Gray agreed to this. The defendant is not charged for challenging Michael Gray to a fight and engaging in a wrestling match with him. What he is charged for is what happened after that wrestling match ended. And the evidence and the testimony in this case is going to show that after the fight ended, a couple minutes later, Michael Gray was arguing with his sister. Again, his sister, Ferry Williams, is the defendant's current girlfriend. And the defendant approached Michael Gray from behind when he wasn't able to see and got him in the side of the head with a punch, causing bodily injury to Michael Gray. Michael Gray then defended himself and punched the defendant once, causing some slight bleeding on his nose. At that point, the defendant pulled out a knife and said, "I'll stab you." That's what this case is about. He was upset that he lost the wrestling match and that he got punched when he attacked Michael Gray from behind when his back was turned.
Having these rights in mind, do you want to waive these rights and talk to them? So that means you want to talk to them?
Yeah, there's just nothing to talk about.
You don't have to tell me your side of the story. It's totally on you.
Yeah, just hear the story and move from there. It's just fucking bullshit stuff.
Mr. Hammerstrom, do you have an opening statement you wish to give?
Let the witnesses who actually were there speak so we can stop wasting the people's time and taxpayer money so that you guys stop juicing the system. You're literally collecting money right now while I'm losing money being here. And I'm still having cattle dropped at my house as we speak.
So was that
as I figure things out. Stop wasting their time. Just have the witnesses. There's nothing to talk about. He's literally hyping it up. That's all I'm going to say. Have the witnesses speak so you're not wasting everyone's time. You're wasting taxpayer money right now.
That's all I have to say.
Mr. Hammerstrom, my patience is at an end with you, okay? I've permitted you in the interest of preserving this trial and moving forward in a way that does not unduly prejudice you in front of the jury. I've given you a lot of leeway. I've given you more leeway than I probably have ever in a trial before because you're appearing without an attorney. All right. The last thing I want is this to come back on an appeal or this jury to be unduly prejudiced by my orders admonishing you or holding you in contempt. This is your last warning. Any other outbreaks that are beyond objection and the nature of the objection are going to be met with court action. All right. You might find yourself in jail for not only today, but for a while. You're being rude right now. I don't want this to continue over the rest of the trial. Take this lunch break to chill out and come back with the courtesy and the respect that I deserve and this court deserves. Got it?
People call Desiree Preciado.
All right.
And how old are you, Desiree?
22.
And where do you live? And is that here in Cortez?
Yes.
And how long have you lived there for?
Since December 25th of 2025.
So Christmas Day 2025?
Yes. So my baby's clothes were left in the restroom, and he had said some things about her clothes because they were dirty. And I went back to grab my baby's clothes because I know they were dirty, so I went to go put them where they belonged. And he was just expressing that it made him upset that my baby's clothes were covered in shit and that it was gross and disgusting to just have clothes everywhere.
What was his sort of volume like when he was saying these things?
It was loud.
Did you make any other observations about his demeanor or how he was talking to you?
Mean?
Did he seem upset?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So I guess just so the record's clear, did he seem upset?
Yes.
And you mentioned that he was upset about poop on your baby's clothes. Fair to say that sometimes babies have blowouts and have poop on their clothes?
Yes, in this case it was food.
But, so you're saying in this case it was food. What kind of food was it?
Plums. It was a puree form of food for her.
So would it be fair to say that potentially the plums might have looked like poop?
Yes.
Yes, but either way, it's okay for babies to poop on their clothes.
Yes. Michael asked him to please stop talking about the house being a mess because it's not his residence to say anything.
So Michael said something along the lines of it's not your residence.
Yes.
Was Michael upset about the way that the defendant had been speaking to you?
Yes.
And what, if anything, can you tell us about Michael's tone or his demeanor when he was talking to the defendant?
He just asked him calmly, can you please stop talking about this place? It's not your residence.
Okay, and was that the first time he asked him?
Yes.
Asked the defendant? How did the defendant react?
He had said, if you have a problem with it, maybe we could run it.
So he said, if you have a problem with it, we could run it. Is that correct?
Yes. I was very scared because Michael could have fallen into me and our daughter, and we could have tumbled on top of her and she could have got really hurt.
At some point, did you make a decision to call someone?
Yes.
And who did you call?
Dispatch?
And by dispatch, do you mean 911?
Yes.
Spring Trailer 14.
911, where is your emergency?
I'm sorry.
Are you on 7th Street?
Yeah, Trailer 14. There's someone here. It's my sister-in-law's boyfriend. He's fighting with everybody, and so I have a baby here.
He's fighting with everybody?
Yeah, I want him off the premises. It's not my boyfriend, but
okay.
It's
Take a breath. Take a breath. I'm gonna ask you a question, okay? Are you listening? I need your phone number in case I lose you. 548?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, does he have any weapons on him that you know of?
Yes, he had a knife and he was trying to stab my boyfriend. And I have a baby in the house.
Okay. 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 Is he still in the room with you guys?
Yes.
Okay, who is it?
I don't know. His name is just Trailer.
Okay, can you tell me what he's wearing?
A black hoodie and some jeans.
Okay. What's your name? Is this Desiree?
My name is.
Can you see them? I can hear their sirens.
I can hear them.
You can hear them? Okay, wave to them when you see them, okay? Flag them down.
I think they might be taking off in the truck. I don't know.
Is he inside the residence? I can't hear any screaming anymore.
No, I think they're leaving.
Where did they go? Are they in a vehicle?
Red truck.
Red truck, can you see the plate?
No. I don't cop on them. I don't fucking care.
Okay, I'm gonna let you go, ma'am. They're gonna try and find that truck.
Desiree, when you were speaking with 911, where was your baby?
In my arms.
After speaking with 911, what did you do?
Talk to the police officer.
So when the police arrived, you were still at the residence?
Yes.
Who else was there when the police showed up?
When the police arrived, it was me, my daughter Nevaeh, Michael, Cadence, and Saphira Gray.
And so just to be clear, the defendant was not there when the police showed up?
No, the defendant and Sherry Williams were not there.
Thank you for your time. I don't have any further questions for you right now.
Sir, do you have any questions?
Can I ask her a question?
You can ask questions. Yes, sir.
How many physical altercations were there between me and your significant other?
2.
There was 3.
So this is an example again of you testifying, which you're not supposed to do during questioning. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, you disregard the comments of the defendant. You can ask a question, you don't testify. Okay? Do you have another question?
That's the only question I got answered.
Okay. Ms. Preciado, thank you for your time and testimony. You are free to go.
Right now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Sergeant, come on up, please.
Yes, Your Honor.
Great. Thank you, sir. Please have a seat. And Mr. Goodlander, whenever you're ready, sir, you may inquire.
Approximately how long have you been a patrol officer for?
Since July of 2015.
Okay, I'm gonna put you at the front of the vehicle here, okay? I'm just gonna pat you down for any further weapons. We'll figure out what's going on, okay? Do me a favor, boss, just put your hands up on the hood and check you real quick, okay? What's your name? Trenton. All right, Trenton. So here's the deal. I'm going to advise you to arrest. Doesn't mean you're under arrest. Just you are being pulled over. You're not free to leave. Okay? Does that make sense to you so far? Then I'll let you tell your side of the story. So what's going on? Okay? So, Shane, do you understand you have the right to remain silent? You understand that anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law? You understand that you have the right to talk to a lawyer and have him present with you while you're being questioned? Do you understand that if you cannot afford to hire a lawyer, one will be appointed to represent you before any questioning if you wish? Do you understand that you can decide at any time to exercise these rights, not answer any questions or make any statements? Do you understand each of these rights I've explained to you? Having these rights in mind, you want to waive these rights and talk to me. So that means you want to talk to me? There's just nothing to talk about. But you don't have to tell me your side of the story. It's totally on you.
Yeah, just hear the story and move from there. It's just some emotions.
So does that mean you do want to talk, Trent?
Not right now, no.
Okay, cool, no worries.
Is it fair to say that he initially waived and said he talked to you?
He said that he waived, but I got the impression he wasn't understanding what I was asking him, so I clarified.
Okay. And then you clarified, as we saw, and then he said, there's not much to talk about. It's all bullshit, basically, in his words, correct?
Correct.
When he says that, the story, I think he refers to, you can hear the story and it's all bullshit. At that point, had you or any other officer informed him about what the reporting parties were saying?
No.
So at that point, he would have been entirely unaware of, from your perspective, unaware of what they were reporting.
At that point, yes.
Sergeant, I do not have any further questions for you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sir, any questions for this witness?
No questions, no, sir.
Ms. Williams, come on up. I'm going to ask that you have a seat over here to my left at the witness stand.
Ms. Williams, can you please state your name and spell your last name for the record?
Sherry Williams, Williams.
How do you know Trenton Hammerstrom?
He's my boyfriend. So we're still dating.
Okay, and now do you still spend a significant amount of time with him?
Yes, I'm living with him now.
Okay, so you live with the defendant now?
Yeah, I'm not allowed at my own house right now.
What, if anything, did you talk to the defendant about in terms of your testimony today?
I don't know. I just told him that what I remember happening, and a lot of the time he wanted to more kind of get things done on the farm. So we didn't talk too much about everything.
But you did review some of the other evidence in the case?
Yes.
Correct? And you've talked to him about what you remember now, correct?
Yes.
So you've discussed the case with him a fair amount?
Kinda, yeah.
From your perspective, do you have an outcome that you want to see in this case? Do you want to see this go well for your boyfriend, for the defendant?
Yes.
Did you tell the officer that Michael walked away first?
Yes.
Okay, and we'll get to some follow-up there. And I'll give you an opportunity to say what your testimony is now. But so just to be clear, you did tell the police that Michael walked away first, correct? And what did you tell the officer about a knife and whether a knife came out?
That Michael came back to the room and that I had guessed that Trenton had pulled a knife. My back was to Trenton at the time, though.
Okay, so you told the police officer after saying that Michael walked away first, essentially the next words out of your mouth were, I guess he did pull a knife out, correct?
After Michael came back the second time, yes.
But that's not what you told the officer, that's your testimony now. Okay. So again, we're just talking about what you told the officer that night, and then I'll give you an opportunity to say, to add to that or to change your testimony. So just to confirm, you did tell the officer that the defendant pulled out a knife after Michael had walked away?
Yes.
I want to ask you and give you an opportunity now to provide any additional information that you want the jury and you want us to know about the defendant pulling out a knife.
When the fight happened, Michael charged down the hallway and Trenton was right in my doorway, and Michael shoved him back and had caused him to trip over several things that were on my floor. And
he had pushed him clear to the back of my bedroom. And I was yelling at them to stop, that they were going to get hurt, that they were going to break things. And Trenton tried to get Michael moved over to the bed. And Michael was on top of Trenton most of the whole time, and then got Trenton into a headlock. They kind of made like a U around my room throughout the whole fight. And then Michael was holding Trenton in a headlock for quite a while. And while he was holding him in a headlock, he was yelling at me, saying, see, Michael was calling Trenton a piece of shit, and yelling at me while holding him in a headlock. And then Trenton started to call out that he couldn't breathe and that he was having a hard time breathing and that Michael was choking him. I started to tell Michael to let him go, you're choking him. And Michael we were arguing for some time while he held him, and then he finally let him go, and I was able to I had to force Michael out of my bedroom.
Okay.
Went to the living room and the kitchen area, and then came back, and I was in the doorway blocking Michael, arguing with Michael, and he had tried to get past me again, and then he yelled out, oh, you're gonna pull a knife out. But Trenton was clear across the room behind me. He never made any move towards Michael.
Fair to say that your recollection now is very different from what you told the police, correct?
I suppose I just didn't give the police the full details.
You had an opportunity to speak with the police for at least 10 minutes, correct?
Yeah, a little bit of time.
Okay. So what you're saying is that you're adding a lot of details now, months later?
I didn't give them very much.
I want to ask you about whether there were any threats made by anyone to shoot anyone else.
Not that I recall.
So your testimony now is that you don't remember anybody threatening to shoot anyone else. Okay. Would it help refresh your recollection to review that portion of your interview with the police?
Yeah, I suppose so.
And after reviewing that, what did you say to the police officer about whether there was a threat to shoot someone?
That there might have been,
So you told the police officer that the defendant might have made a threat to shoot Michael?
I don't know if Michael made any threats or Trenton. I don't know.
So your testimony today is that you still don't really know?
Yeah, I don't remember anyone threatening to they both were yelling quite a bit, and Michael was, I don't know, I don't recall them making threats about shooting each other.
Okay, but you did tell the police officer that the defendant might have, you didn't say that he did, but you said the defendant might have made a threat to shoot Michael, correct?
I don't believe I was talking about Trenton in that instance.
So your testimony now is that you were talking about Michael?
No, I don't recall either of them making gun threats at the time.
So you don't remember that now, but you did tell the police officer that it was possible that a threat was made to shoot?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Just to be clear, you and the defendant are still dating?
Yes.
And you've had an opportunity, as you testified, to discuss this case with him?
Yes.
And you've had an opportunity to review other witnesses' statements and other evidence in this case provided to the defendant in discovery?
Somewhat, yes.
And you testified earlier that you're interested in the outcome of this case going in favor of the defendant, correct? Okay. Thank you. No further questions.
All right, thank you. Any questions?
Who was the initial aggressor?
Michael.
And when Michael got punched in the face because he turned around, was it because he was blocking the door for the third time I was trying to leave and he got pushed out of my way and then he got sucker punched? That's what was happening. That's what happened. I'm not going to go ask her 10 different questions trying to confuse her.
Okay, knock it off, man. Do you have any more questions?
No, sir.
Your Honor, at this point, I'd ask for an instruction for the jury to disregard the defendant's comments. Those were not testimony.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're to disregard the comments of the defendant that were not questions of the witness. How is your relationship with your brother before this incident, and how is it now?
Before this, I would help my brother out quite a bit. He's kind of went through a lot in life. Kind of try to help a lot of my family out because him, along with a lot of my other family, have had drug issues. I've helped him through that. And it was fairly decent, but it was like, I don't know, I was his support system for the most part, I suppose.
And how is it now?
Quite strained. I think that he feels like, I don't know, after this, he would get in my face kind of quite a bit lately whenever I would try to ask him about it. And then I haven't been comfortable at my own home and stuff, and just quite strained now, I guess.
Okay. Were you worried for your children's safety with Michael when you left?
No.
Were you worried for your children's safety with Michael when you left?
I guess if it's referring to the night, I guess not really. I was trying to get them in the truck with us and everything before we left, but we were trying to get out of the situation.
Okay. Any follow-up on those series of questions?
Yes, Your Honor, briefly. Jerry, you agree that you did leave your two kids in Michael and Desiree's care. You fled the scene with the defendant, correct?
Yes.
So you left and you left your kids there, right?
Yes.
Right. And, based on your testimony today with all the additional details that you provided that weren't provided to the police, you stated today, your testimony now today is that Michael was the aggressor and attacking and such, correct? Okay. Yet you felt like it was okay to leave two young children in the house with him.
Didn't feel he was a threat to my children, no.
So in response to the juror question, you said that you were trying to get the kids in the car, correct?
Yes.
But you had to get out of there, right?
Yeah, because Michael had attacked him again in the doorway and stuff. And that.
Well, it's really just a yes or no question.
Yes.
Yes. So you felt like you needed to leave the scene quickly, correct?
Yes.
So you didn't call 911 in the residence, and you didn't call 911 from your truck, correct?
No.
And you never told the police any of these details that you say now about Michael being an attacker, correct?
I did tell the police that Michael was the first one to attack and the first one to punch Trenton.
Well, I guess just to be clear, your testimony on direct was that you told the police officer you weren't sure who started the pushing match, correct?
Yes, but further in the video, it does say that Michael was the first one to punch.
Okay, so you were told the officer you weren't sure who pushed who first, but your testimony now is that Michael threw the first punch.
In my conversation with the officer, I also said that, yes.
Okay. And you currently have a criminal case where you are charged with harassment against your brother, correct?
Yes, but I had to file a restraining order against him.
Well, so my question is really just, you currently have criminal charges for harassment pending against you where your brother is the alleged victim, correct?
Alleged, yes.
Okay. And there is a criminal protective order currently saying that you're not allowed to have contact with your brother, and that's why you're not allowed to be at your house, correct?
Yes, because I placed a protection order, yes.
Ms. Williams, your statement to the police officer that you testified to on direct was that the defendant punched Michael Gray, your brother, when his back was turned, correct? That's what you told the officer?
Yes, Michael was turning around, yes.
Okay. And your testimony today is that the punch was essentially in self-defense.
Yeah, because Michael was like blocking my way for me to get through to the front door for us to try to get out of the situation.
But that's a detail that you're adding for the first time today and was not brought up on the night of.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Sherry, did the officer ask you all these extra questions, or did he just ask the questions he asked you?
No, he didn't ask me specific details or to go very into detail or to explain the entire situation.
Thank you very much.
All right, Ms. Williams, you are free to go. Thank you for your time and testimony. People's next witness?
Officer Borden, Your Honor, I believe he is.
I do. Great. Thank you very much. Have a seat.
Thank you.
And were you working as a patrol officer on January 8th of 2026?
I was.
And were you able to make contact with a red pickup truck?
Yes, I observed a red pickup truck that was traveling westbound from the area of the trailer park.
And approximately how far from the residence to where you observed this pickup truck?
It was about 1 block. I observed the pickup truck in the 500 block of West 7th Street.
And were you able to make contact with the operator of that vehicle?
I was.
And how'd you go about doing that?
I activated my emergency lights and I initiated a traffic stop in the 500 block of West 7th Street. I then approached the driver's side of the vehicle.
And what can you tell us about who was driving the vehicle?
The driver of the vehicle was a female who identified herself as Sherry Williams.
And who was in the front passenger seat?
The front passenger was a male who was later identified as Trenton Hammerstrom.
Was one of the initial questions that you asked her about a knife?
Yes.
How far into your recollection to the traffic stop did you ask about the knife?
It was pretty immediately within, at the beginning of the traffic stop, just so I could identify whether there was a weapon inside of the vehicle.
Okay. So that's why you would ask right at the outset?
Correct.
Did Sherry Williams or the defendant seem surprised when you're asking about a knife seemingly out of nowhere on a traffic stop?
I don't recall them acting surprised. They both seemed to be aware that there was a knife in the vehicle.
And did the defendant admit that the knife was in the vehicle?
I don't recall if it was the defendant or Miss Williams that said there was a knife in the vehicle, but someone informed me there was a knife in the vehicle.
So does that reflect your recollection about who stated the knife was in the car?
It does.
Okay, and who was it?
It was Mr. Hammerstrom.
So, officer, was that you locating the knife in the little compartment behind one of the front seats?
It was.
Okay. And what are you doing here with your phone?
I was taking photographs during my search of where the knife was located and then a picture of the knife after retrieving it from the pocket.
So what are we looking at here, Officer Borden?
That's a photograph I took of the knife that was located in the pocket behind the front passenger seat.
And what, if anything, stands out to you about this knife?
2 things, the American flag design on it and the blades that extend from each end.
Were you able to observe any injuries on the defendant?
Yes.
And what type of injury did you observe?
It appeared as though he was lightly bleeding from the area of his nose.
Okay. And when you say lightly bleeding, can you describe that a little bit more?
I guess I wouldn't describe it as gushing. I don't think there was blood continuing to run out of his nose, but that there appeared to be some blood in and around his nose.
Did you observe any bruising to his neck area?
I don't believe I observed any injuries to his neck area that I documented.
Okay, is that you don't believe, or you don't, there were no injuries to his neck area?
I don't recall seeing any injuries to his neck area.
Okay. If you had observed injuries to his neck, would you have noted that in your report like you did with the small amount of blood coming from his nose?
Yes, I would have noted any injuries that I observed.
Okay. Did you give Ms. Williams a full and fair opportunity to provide as many details as she wanted?
Yes.
At any point, did you cut her off and said, hey, I've heard enough, I don't want to hear anymore?
No.
Okay, and your job as a police officer is to give an impartial investigation of the case and give witnesses every opportunity to provide whatever information they want, correct?
Correct.
And Ms. Williams was afforded that opportunity.
Correct.
If, for instance, Ms. Williams wanted to provide additional details to law enforcement, would an officer have been available to her at a later date?
Yeah, we're available at all times.
And that did not happen, correct? Her statement was the one that you took on the night of?
Yes, I took her statement that night. I didn't take any additional statements at any later dates.
Thank you. No further questions.
Was it cold that night?
I recall it being fairly cold.
That's my only question.
Okay. Did Sherry say she saw Trenton stab Michael with the knife?
No.
Any follow-up?
Just briefly, so Sherry's statement was that the defendant did pull out a knife, but there was no allegation by anyone that anybody actually got stabbed, correct?
Correct.
And the defendant was charged with menacing, which is threatening someone with a knife, not actually stabbing someone with a knife, correct?
Correct.
So that would be the basis for the charge, not an actual stabbing, correct?
Correct.
Thank you. How are you today, Mr. Gray?
I'm good. How about you, sir?
Doing well, thank you. And where is that?
Trailer 14.
And how long have you lived there for?
For 6 months, since a little over 6 months since November.
Okay, and who do you live there with?
Currently, it's just me and my wife and my daughter.
Okay, and who is your wife?
Or my fiance, Desiree Preciado.
Okay, and who's your daughter?
Nevaeh Jade Preciado.
Great. And how old is she?
She's 14 months.
Is your sister Sherry Williams?
Yes.
Okay. And on January 8th of 2026, do you remember that day?
Yes.
Who was living in Unit 14 at that time?
Just me, my wife, and my daughter.
Sherry, was Sherry living with you as well?
She would come and go, but she wasn't there.
Okay. Was that her legal address at the time, though?
Yes.
What about her two children? Were they there that night?
Most of the time they were there, yes.
Okay, so her two kids were there most of the time?
More than her, yes.
Do you know somebody named Trenton Hammerstrom?
Yes.
And how do you know Trenton Hammerstrom?
Through my sister, Sherry Williams.
Okay, and what's his relationship to Miss Williams?
New boyfriend. I was sitting in my room on my bed and we don't have a door, so I seen them walk by and I already heard them talking in their voices.
What had you been doing prior to them arriving back at Unit 14?
I just helped my wife give our daughter a bath because she just got done eating and she got the food all over herself. So we gave her a bath and then we put her in a towel and we were drying her and putting clothes on her.
And where are you located at this point when the defendant and Sherry come back?
I was on my bed, laying on my bed, watching a movie, relaxing with my daughter.
Okay. What, if anything, did you observe about the defendant's tone of voice or demeanor when he came back to the residence?
Like he was already aggravated at something and just wanted to complain and just complain and argue about something he, had no control in. He called her lazy and said that she never does anything whenever all she does is cooks and helps me clean.
So your recollection is that the defendant directly confronted Desiree about the state of the house?
Yes.
How did you feel when the defendant was saying that to her?
That's when I finally got pretty upset.
Why were you upset?
Because it's my family and we live there, not him, and he has no right to talk to us like that in our place of living. Calling me more names, yelling at me, and then called me out to fight. He said, "Let's run it."
Okay, so his specific words were, "Let's run it."
Yeah.
And you interpreted that as a challenge to a fight?
Yes.
And how did you respond when he challenged you to a fight?
When he said that, I commented, "Let's go outside," because I didn't want anyone in the house harmed. And then whenever I walked into the hallway, that's when he charged me. He charged me and shoved me in the chest as hard as he could with his two palms.
When he started charging you, were you facing him or was your back turned or something else?
When I first went out the door, I faced that way. That was my first. And then whenever I heard the feet running behind me, that's when I turned around.
And what happened when you turned around?
He shoved me in the chest as hard as he could.
How did you react to that?
I stumbled, I almost fell, lost my balance, but then once I got my balance, he was still coming towards me, and that's whenever we grabbed each other, and I pushed him away from the children, because the children were right behind me. I kind of heard him coming because he was saying something, but I didn't look back, not thinking, but all of a sudden I got clocked from the side, on the side of my face.
Was it the defendant that clocked you?
Yes.
When you say clocked, do you mean that he punched you?
Yes.
What did it feel like when he punched you?
Pretty hard, like a rock hit me in the side of the head.
Were you expecting to be punched?
No.
At any point in this altercation, did the defendant have a weapon?
Yes.
What kind of weapon did he have?
A pocket knife.
And what's your recollection of how that knife looked?
Like a rainbow color, like reddish and like different colors.
And
like oil and water color, like that color.
Do you remember some red in there?
Yeah.
And I want to ask you, when the knife came out, how were you feeling?
Scared for my family.
And were you taking into account specific details about the knife or anything like that, or were you focused more on exactly what was going on?
Focused more on where my family was and where he was, and I was just keeping myself in between them.
And so just to be clear, you mentioned that it was a multicolored knife. And what colors do you remember?
Sorry, so I saw you nod your head yes, but will you say yes or no out loud?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, sir.
You're good. Thank you.
What colors do you remember seeing?
It was like oil and water color, like I said, like a reddish, purplish.
And to be clear, I've never showed you a picture of the knife, and the police never showed you a picture of the knife, correct?
Correct.
So you're going just based on your recollection.
Yes.
What did the defendant say, or did he say anything when the knife came out?
Yes, he said, "I'll stab you," and was calling me names still.
At some point, did you say anything to the defendant about the knife?
Yes, I told him, "You have to pull a knife because you can't fight me like a man."
How did...
I'm sorry.
That's your last warning. Go ahead.
Thank you, Aaron. How did the defendant react when you made that statement?
Because I said that, he said I have guns too, which I have seen in person before, and he said he'll go get them and shoot me and my family.
But to be clear, he didn't display a firearm that night, correct?
No.
The threats made were to stab you with the knife, correct? That was when the knife was actually out?
Yes.
But the statement about "I'll shoot you," there was no gun brandished at that point.
No.
How many physical altercations did they take place between me and you?
Physical? That's the only one.
There was only one? In that nighttime is what I'm at. I'm talking within January 8th.
In that night,
How many? 2?
Yes.
Thank you. Love the answer. Where were you when the physical altercation took place?
In the hallway?
And where was I?
In the hallway?
Those are the only questions I have. Thank you.
Redirect.
Just briefly, so the defendant asked you where you were when the physical altercation started, correct?
Right.
And you were in the hallway.
I was in the hallway.
But just to be clear, your testimony in direct was that it continued into Sherry's room, correct?
Yes.
And at some point, the wrestling match in there ended, and you and Sherry moved into the kitchen, right?
Yes.
And then the defendant restarted after a couple of minutes physical altercation by cold cocking you, by punching you in the side of the head, right?
In the kitchen, yes.
Okay. And so that would be the two physical altercations. The wrestling match that ended in Sherry's room would be the first. And the second would be the one started in the kitchen by the defendant when he punched you, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
It started in the hallway. He charged me in the hallway, and then it ended up in Sherry's room was the first wrestling altercation, and then the second altercation was in the kitchen.
Thank you.
How did the wrestling in Sherry's room end? What was the cause that stopped it?
When my sister was trying to get in the middle of it, I didn't want her harmed, so I pushed him off of me and then exited the room.
Did you block the door to outside?
No, Your Honor.
Did the defendant or your sister ask you to let them leave?
No, Your Honor.
And if you know the answer to this question, how did Trenton and Sherry know the police were called?
I'm sure they heard my wife on the phone because she was yelling it, and she yelled she was gonna call the authorities.
How was the defendant holding the knife?
Had the butt of the hand, the pocket knife, the butt of it, and had the blade open.
Any follow-up?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Sir?
Was that after the first time you choked me out and you ran outside the room to go to the kitchen or whatever you're doing?
That was after all of it, after you cold cocked me from behind in the kitchen. You ran back to Sherry's and you pulled a knife.
Which physical encounter are we talking about, the first or second? Because you only remember 2 of 3.
After both.
It was after both?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to go all over the place. This guy's something else.
All right.
No objection to that.
Sir, let's just not begin our day the same way it ended, all right? I do not want you to editorialize your questions. You're not to testify.
I understand. I don't want to do a 9-hour day, though. I have other things to do that are priority.
Listen to me, and you're not to make comments about the witness's testimony after you ask the question.
I know, I'm just calling out lies. I'm trying to find lies that I know.
You say you know, but you keep doing what I ask you not to do. All right? All right? Sir, do you recall Sherry trying to get her kids to leave with her and the defendant?
No, Your Honor.
Any follow-up?
Briefly, Your Honor. So just to be clear, when Sherry and the defendant left the scene in the truck, Sherry left her kids, 6 and 9, in your care, correct?
Yes.
With you and Desiree?
Yes.
Thank you.
Did she go up to you and tell you this, or did she just want to get me and you separate?
She didn't even say anything to children, and no, she did not say anything to me about leaving them with me.
Thank you. That's why they live at my house now.
All right. You see what you just did?
Our kids are going to eat. We can do the lies all day.
Your Honor, may I say something?
No.
Yeah, say it.
Folks, we're going to take a 5-minute break.
I can't answer these questions I got written for. Promise you.
All right, have a seat. Sir, I'm holding you in contempt. All right? I'm sick of it.
All right.
I've given you a million.
You guys are dealing with lots of lawsuits for harassment. It's already consent. It's already consent.
You need to be quiet.
Read these questions and
Sit
have them read
down.
from the lying drug addict.
Sit
I'm
down.
going to jail. I don't give a fuck. Lock me
Sit
up.
down.
This is lies and bullshit.
You just need to sit down.
You need your 9 hours a day?
You need to be quiet.
Yeah.
All right? You're in contempt. You continue to be in contempt. I'm going to give you a chance to, at the end of this trial, give me a statement in mitigation if you'd like to provide one before I impose a sentence. I'm going to let you continue, if possible, your questioning because I do not want to interfere with your right to cross-examine a witness. But your right to cross-examine a witness is going to be curtailed by the court if you can't keep your act together and stop editorializing your comments or testifying during your questions. Do you understand?
I understand, but words are words. I am speaking and I'm using the Second Amendment. If you need to write that down, I'm using the Second Amendment. I'm trying to explain myself.
You continue to be rude.
I'm not cussing.
and
I'm not being rude.
disrespectful. Sir, I'm asking you to follow up with questions if you have them, not testify. You can testify today if you want. We talked about this yesterday.
I'm not testifying. I have questions. My questions were in order of how I wanted to go. That's why I asked you at the beginning if we were.
You can ask the questions, and let me just tell you this. I asked the jury to be excused so that you don't look bad in front of them as I admonish you. If you do it again, the jury's going to see you removed in handcuffs. All right?
That's fine.
I'm giving you that final warning.
Lots of paperwork on you guys.
All
That's
right.
fine.
Any record the DA wants to make?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Okay.
You mentioned that the relationship has changed a little bit and that she hasn't been helping quite as much. Is that accurate?
Yes.
Is it true that she got charged with a crime where you were the victim?
Yes.
And is it true that there is a criminal protection order that the court issued against her saying that she is not allowed to have contact with you?
Yes.
When the defendant pulled out the knife and said, "I'll stab you," who was he talking to?
To me.
Did he make any threats towards Sherry at all?
No.
Did he leave with Sherry?
Yes.
And did Sherry go with him willingly?
Yes.
You stated there was 2 physical encounters. At what point did you ever let me leave or Sherry when we asked, we just want to leave over 100 times?
You did not say. How would I prevent you from leaving when there's a back door in between Sherry's room and my door?
Does that back door ever get used? Yes or no?
It's usable, yes.
Yes or no, does it ever get used? It's not usable.
I use it. Yes, it gets used.
So it wasn't at the time we weren't using that door.
It's a door.
It wasn't working.
So make sure you're asking a question.
So when did you allow me to leave at all? When I asked, we'll just leave.
You guys left.
Because I forced my way out.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, that's when I hit you.
Objection, Your Honor.
So-
I think that the defendant's been advised multiple times not to testify through his questions. If he chooses to testify, that's one thing. But I believe that this is now the 10th or 11th time that the defendant has defied the court's order not to testify through his questions.
Folks, you're to ignore and disregard the comments of the defendant that were not a question and appeared to be testimonial in nature. Sir, was the knife open and did you see the blade at the time of the threat?
Yes, Your Honor.
Sir, thank you very much.
Yeah, of
you are
course,
free
Your
to
Honor.
go. You're also free to remain if you'd like to stick around, but thank you for your time and testimony.
Yes, of course, Your Honor.
Your next witness?
Officer Lanyon, and I'm just going to go grab him.
Okay,
Yes, Your Honor.
great. Thank you. Have a seat.
Good morning, Officer Lanyon. How are you
Morning.
today?
I'm well, thanks.
Could you please state your name and spell your last name for the record?
Jacob Lanyon, Lanyon. So he said that there was a conversation about the cleanliness of the home and the children living in the home, and that spiraled into, I guess, a shoving match, which resulted in a fist fight. According to Michael, the two parties separated, he and Trenton, and then Trenton came back into the room, re-engaged in the fight.
So I just want to pause you there. So he mentioned to you that there was a separation, correct?
Right.
And then you said that he told you Trenton came back?
Correct.
So at a later time?
Yes. So according to Michael, he was walking away from whatever room that initial conflict took place. He said Trenton returned and hit him in the back of the head.
Did you ask Michael any questions about a knife?
I did. One, if it was present. Two, if he could describe the knife. And what I was told, it was basically a pocket knife. He described it as a folding knife, multicolor handle. I don't think he ever commented on what color the steel was.
But a folding knife and multicolored.
Correct.
If Mike admitted to the fight, why was he not charged?
So, looking back, there wasn't a whole lot of evidence indicating there was a fight or even a significant fight. It sounded like both parties agreed that some kind of altercation happened, but in this instance, we kind of chalked that up to like a mutual combat. They were both fighting. It started as a shoving match. They're going back and forth. Neither party was trying to disengage. And so typically in a case like that, either they both get charged for it or no one gets charged for it. So in this case, we only went with the felony menacing part of things.
So actually, you use the term mutual combat. What does that mean?
Mutual combat?
Yeah.
Basically, like I said, both parties are involved. Nobody's trying to disengage. There's not one side that's being the aggressor. In this case, they were both going at each other.
So if there's an agreement in this case between the defendant and Michael that they're going to run it or that they're going to fight, that would be a mutual combat situation, that's correct?
Yep.
But if there's a period of time in between the end of that and when things re-engage, like in this case, when the defendant punched him in the side of the head and brandished the knife, that's a different situation, correct?
Correct, yeah.
So an agreement to fight in one instance doesn't mean that you are allowed to go after someone after the fight is over, correct?
Sir, I'm going to revisit what we discussed yesterday about your right to testify. Do you recall the advisement that I gave you about that right?
Yes, sir.
Have you made a decision about whether or not you wish to testify today?
It's not really going to prove anything. I feel like we've talked a lot already. We have a lot of statements to get an outcome and an answer. So I think we'll just skip that and proceed.
All right, so you're making the decision not to testify, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is this a voluntary decision that has not been made as a result of pressure, influence, or coercion?
No pressure, no coercion, just simply my answer.
Okay. Do you have any questions about your right to testify or your right not to testify?
No, sir.
Do you feel that you understand your right to testify and your right not to testify and the consequences of both?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How old are you?
29 years old.
How far did you get in school?
High school diploma, GED, and a little bit of college.
Okay. Do you take any prescribed medications, yes or no?
No.
Have you had any alcohol or drugs in the last 24 hours?
No.
Do you have any mental, physical, or emotional conditions that affect your ability to think clearly today?
No.
Are you thinking clearly?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, I find, based on my discussion with the defendant, that has spanned 2 days, yesterday and today, and the advisement that I provided both days, that his decision to not testify is voluntary, knowing, and intelligent.
So think about Michael's behavior and Desiree's behavior after the police come involved or as the police are becoming involved. Their behavior is consistent with how a victim would act. They stay on scene, they call 911, they speak with the police, they stay to take care of Sherry's kids. Sherry and the defendant, they leave in a hurry with audible sirens in the background. So ask yourselves, if he did nothing wrong or if he acted in self-defense as he's claiming now, wouldn't he immediately say, I had to use a knife, I had to I had this threat, I had to do this, I had to do that. No, he just immediately says, well, it's in the back, and doesn't even seem surprised that he's even being asked about a knife.
Get in a fight, then you ask somebody.
Hey, knock it off.
You're gonna lose for it.
Deputy, will you please remand the defendant at this time?
That's why these kids live in my house, gentlemen. Ain't gonna live with you kid fuckers.
Stop talking.
I already won, dude. Sure. Jail ain't scary, boy. Talk to that. Hold up. No, these kids, I'll continue to sell. She's representing a fentanyl heroin.
Folks, the court apologizes. The court asks and directs you to disregard the comments of the defendant. You may continue.
Is it all right if I give Ms. Williams the defendant's binder?
That's fine.
Hold on.
That's fine.
It's not this time of the trial, Sherry. I know you had your opportunity to talk, counsel.
All right, let's focus on this. Let's focus on this. Ma'am, please. Thank you. You're welcome to stay if you'd like. I just need you to be quiet.
Why would I not?
I need you to be quiet. Ma'am, you can leave. You can leave.
Robbing oceanfront.
You can leave.
Stealing guns from Blue Door Pond. Like, why would I say that for a man I barely dated for 3 months?
Ma'am, leave now.
Did I just keep going, Judge?
No, I'm hoping it would quiet down. We might just need to take a break so that we can hear what the prosecution has to say over the outburst of the defendant in the adjoining room. All right, you can go ahead.
Sorry, folks. So I think I was talking about juxtaposing.
You know what? I'm sorry. Folks, I really apologize. I don't want to take up any more of your time today. I think it would be more appropriate if we take a brief recess. Do not begin deliberations yet. Let's hang out for a moment so I can get a more quiet courtroom for you all to hear closing arguments, okay? Please rise. All right, you can have a seat, sir. Give me a moment here. I'm gonna... No, leave it on, please. So the record should reflect that the court has endeavored to provide the defendant with no small amount of warnings. The court this morning held the defendant outside the presence of the jury in contempt. The court will address that issue at some point. The court finds that the defendant The court notes that a defendant has the right under the Confrontation Clause of the Sixth Amendment and due process principles to be present in court during all parts of the trial. However, a defendant may forfeit that right to be present by persisting in disruptive conduct after being warned by the court that further similar conduct will result in removal. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your patience. And Mr. Goodlander, you are in the midst of your closing argument, and I invite you to resume that presentation.
Thank you, Your Honor. So, folks, I guess I'll restart by addressing the elephant in the room. You know, what we heard from the defendant in terms of outbursts, insults, yelling at court staff, deputies, you know, that's happening here in court when everybody's watching. So I'd invite you to consider how the defendant might behave in the privacy of his girlfriend's home with only Michael Gray, Desiree, and children as witnesses. But I'm not asking you to convict based on that at all. What stood out to me most about that whole thing was one statement. I'm not sure if he caught it, but he told me, "You're gonna lose." There's a cooling off period between the initial wrestling match in Sherry's room and when the defendant re-engaged by punching Michael in the side of the head. And that's the assault charge here. It's for the punch in the side of the head when his back was turned. Michael confirms that there was a cooling off period. Even Sherry confirms. She told us, reluctantly, that they were in multiple different locations and that there was a significant period of time in between when the wrestling match ends and when the defendant re-engages. Defendant pulls out the knife and threatens to stab Michael after assaulting him. That's retaliation. You don't get to claim self-defense because you lost a fight, restarted it, and then you get punched in the face. That's not self-defense. I'd invite you to consider if Michael was the attacker and, according to her, choked out the defendant twice, which was a detail she completely added here in court, was never mentioned to the police. Why would she leave the kids and flee the scene? You know, if Michael is this dangerous aggressor, you're not going to leave your kids with someone like that. You know, she tried to tell us that, oh, her relationship is strained with Michael. He gets up in her face now. Well, she didn't tell you until questioned that she has current criminal charges pending against her for crimes against Michael, and there's a protective order saying that she's not allowed to be around Michael. So you can consider all of those things when you're evaluating Sherry Williams' testimony. And again, her testimony is the only evidence we've heard of this purported self-defense claim. And think about all the details that she added and how every single detail that she added that she didn't mention to the police helps the defendant's theory of the case. Think about the fact that they talked about the case. She reviewed the other evidence. She lives with the defendant. She is not a reliable witness. All those things together, I'd submit to you that the only verdict consistent with the evidence is guilty on both counts. And that's the verdict that the DA's office would ask you to return. Thank you.